And we have quite a grid, although there has been some attrition due to the INDY Legends Charity Pro-Am presented by Racer Magazine. Did lose some cars there. Not sure if they're going to be able to make the call to grid, but 38 entries in race group number 6. We'll see what kind of car count we get when they come out for their pace lap. Pace car provided by Jaguar. It is on track, and here comes your field. We'll run through the grid for you. We've got 59 Peter Kloot and 46A Gary Kloot. This is the way the grid read before the Pro-Am. On the second row, the 46 of Jody O'Donnell, the 14 of Matt Parent. 530 Kurt Vogt, 1D Samuel Lecomte in the third row. Fourth row, the 83 of Vincent Dean and the 33 of Michael Donahue. Fifth row, number 9, Ray Evernham and the 63 of Scott Hawley. Sixth row, 33A George Del Canto and the 98 of Gary Moore. I believe we can mark paid to the number 98. 37 Claire Schwendeman and the 2 of David Roberts are in the 7th row. Row 8, James Heck and the 33D of Bob Lima. For the 9th row, 23 John Cloud and the 05 of Scott Borchetta. 10th row, number 16, Stephen Cole and 84 Jim Sandberg. 11th row, 71 John Scott and 65 Doug Tillman. Row 12, 99 Debbie Cloud and 77 Richard Payne. Row 13, the 11 of Joe Robow and 99A Robert Bosworth. 14th row, 92 John Coyle, 34 Bill Feaster. 15th row, 73 Clark Howie and 77A Kelly Ann Hampton. 16th row, the 1A of Michael Evans, the 7 of Scott Rogers. 17th row, 68 John Malmquist and the 30 of Don Yount. 18th row, 48 Larry Hampton and the 64E of Lee Eberly. Final row, 777 Doug Obermeyer and the 1 of Don Henry. The way they break down, it looks like Corvettes dominate the field. Total of 18 out of 38 are Corvettes. For the Mustangs, the Ford products, in addition to Mustang, the Shelby Cobras. We have 8 Mustangs or Ford products. E-type Jaguars out there, we've got a couple. As far as the Mopars, it looks like a couple as well. Couple Dodge Challengers. And in the Camaros, we've got 4. So that's the way your field breaks down. Again, this is race group number 6. They come out of turn 14, head down towards the starter. We've got a green flag. And we've got the 46A and the 59, Peter Kloot, Gary Kloot, battling it out on the front stretch and looking to make that run into turn 1. And it goes to the 46A of Gary Kloot. He's got the advantage heading into turn 1. Family Racers running 1-2 on the track. On this, the opening lap for race group number 6. And as I mentioned, we had a number of these cars in the Pro-Am earlier and lost some to attrition. So while we started with a 38-car grid, what we wound up with when everything shook out, looks like we've got 2 dozen. So we've lost a dozen cars. And not all of that due to attrition in the Pro-Am, by the way. Some had problems before they even got to the Pro-Am, but that's a whole nother story. Your leader, the 46A, Gary Clute, 59. Peter Clute come by, and they have a sizable margin over the third place car. That is the 1D of Samuel Lecomte. He takes over that third place spot. 83 Vincent Dean, 63 Scott Hawley, 14 Matt Parent. So Parent got his car back in running order. It had run into some problems in the Pro-Am. Scott Barchetta moves into 7th, 33D Bob Lima in 8th, the 64 of James Heck in 9th, and in 10th, the number 23, that's the Boss 302 Mustang of John Cloud. So while your front runners, Gary and Peter Clute, have kind of checked out, they've got, about 7 seconds on the rest of the field. We do have some close racing going on for third place. A 1/10 of a second separating, or excuse me, for third place. 3/10 of a second separating third from fourth, a 1/10 of a second separating fourth from fifth, and 6/10 separating fifth from sixth. They'll have about 20 minutes to sort this out. And it's still Gary Clute by 1.1 seconds over Peter. Coming up following this race, we're going to take a break to convert over to the oval track configuration. And then we'll see some of the vintage, if you will, Indy cars running on the oval. So if you're used to sitting there in the grandstands and looking up towards turn 1 and following the cars down towards turn 4, well, you're going to have to reverse that program, because we're putting the cars out on the oval, on the 2.5-mile Indianapolis Motor Speedway oval. We'll also have pre-war exhibition laps happening, and the Hagerty Show and Shine exhibition laps as well to wrap up the day's program. Following that, it's the SVRA Brickyard Celebration at the Plaza Pavilion in the infield behind the pagoda. Live music from the Impalas. So we've got, in the front 5, we've got 4 Corvettes, 2 on either side of the Shelby Cobra of Vincent Dean, car number 83. It's the Clutes, Gary, and Peter, car numbers 46A and 59 respectively. The 83 of Dean in the Cobra, and then it's Samuel Lecomte and the 14 of Matt Parent. Six through 10, 63 Scott Hawley, the 05 of Scott Borchetta. 33D Bob Lima runs in 8th, make that 7th. He picks up a spot, gets around the 63 of Hawley. 64 James Heck in 9th, 23 John Cloud in 10th, just going by in the blue number 23 Mustang. And bad news there for the 34 as the Camaro goes up over the, whoops, that's the replay there. I missed that one. At any rate, it was bad news for number 34. That was Bill Feaster in the Camaro. He had shared that with John Martin in the Pro-Am. and got a little bit behind on his steering there. Bounced up over the curb. That's what I get for trying to take advantage of the shade in here. Couldn't see the lower part of the screen, so just enough to get in trouble. And the gap has come down a bit as Peter Kloot starts picking up the speed. His last lap of 138.3 to Gary Kloot's 138.7, so picking up 0.4 there. Peter so far has the fastest race lap, about 0.3 quicker than Gary. But Gary definitely got the jump at the start. Peter's reeling him in. Got to be getting slippery out there. Between the 50-minute Pro-Am, the hour and 15-minute TA2 feature, and qualifying for the TA, TA3, and TA4 cars, it's got to be slick. Plus, it's hot. '84 trying to just breathe a little easier, stay ahead of car number 65. '84 Jim Sandberg running 11th, the 65 of Doug Tillman in 12th. 1 lap to go. 0.9 of a second separating first from second place. If they're going to make it happen, they need to do it now. '83 Vincent Dean in the Cobra. 14 Matt Parent in the Corvette. 1D Samuel Lecomte. He's got Scott Borchetta all over the back of him in the 05. They're just 0.3 of a second apart. Your leader up there on the big screen, the 46A of Gary Kloot. Trying to get the job done on this last lap for race group 6. Six laps complete, working lap number 7. And there goes the 34 of Feaster. Had that problem earlier, but managed to get back on the racetrack. Now in 17th spot, had been in 18th, got around the 48 of Hampton. And now chasing after the 1A of Michael Evans. As the checkered flag comes out, give that win to Gary Kloot, number 46A, 1.5 seconds separating first from second. Peter Kloot in the number 59. Leader on his cool down lap. Here comes the race for third. And it's the 83 of Dean over the 14 of Parent. 1D Samuel Lecomte finishing in 5th. The 05 Scott Borchetta in 6th. 33D Bob Lima in 7th. 63 Scott Holley in 8th. All alone in 9th, 64 James Heck, and completing the top 10, the 23 of John Cloud. Car-wise, it looks like we've got 2 Corvettes, a Cobra, 4 more Corvettes, the E-Type Jag, yet another Corvette, the Boss 302 Mustang of John Cloud, completing the top 10. '11 Joe Robow and 77 Richard Payne. 34 Bill Feaster. 92 just before that John Coyle. The 1A of Evans. 48 Hampton, the 68 of John Malmquist. 71 John Scott. 77A Kelly Ann Hampton. And I saw Doug Tillman work his way towards the tail end of the grid, and I'm not sure if we're going to see him make it around to take the checkered flag or not. Be sure and stop by the SVRA booth behind the pagoda at the outer edge of the pavilion over there by where the SVRA party is going to be. Stop by and see Denny and Marianne. If you haven't got a copy of the program, they've got them there. Also, Vintage Racing Quarterly Magazine, the poster for this weekend's festivities is available. And lots of other SVRA stuff. You'll find T-shirts, hats, caps, earplugs, also copies of Lynn St. James' book. So please stop by. Again, located behind the pagoda on the outer edge of the pavilion area, the patio area, if you will, directly behind the pagoda. The Hagerty Show and Shine Car Show is history for this weekend, but the drivers of those cars, some of them will be coming out a little bit later on to get a chance to go around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, are thanks to Hagerty, the official insurance partner of SVRA. What they do is they insure your vintage car when it's not on the racetrack, which is about 99% of the time. So if it's in storage, in transit to the races, or in the paddock, it's covered. That's Hagerty Vintage Motorsports Insurance. They protect, and they care about vintage car racing just as much as you do. So stop by and see them. They're right down in the garage area. I believe it's garage number 27 that you'll find the Hagerty representatives.